All right, thank you for your patience. All right, good afternoon. I know now is typically the time that we would be at appointments, so I appreciate you all being here. And what I'm gonna do for you guys today is train and help you on business development and tips for new agents, or you don't have to be new, any agents marketing to first-time home buyers. And help you guys with 5 steps. So note takers are money makers, something I like to say. So if you guys are able to take notes, that will be awesome. And for those of you who don't know me, I am not used to using this computer, so sorry. Okay. All right. So if you don't know me, my name is Stacy. I'm, of course, an agent, mentor, and coach. And I have been in the business here in the Valley for going on 15 years. Pretty much done almost everything you can think of in the business aside from commercial buildings, industrial, stuff like that. Anything else, multifamily, residential, I've been involved in, done it, seen it. So what I really want to do is be able to share with you guys today, again, about first-time home buyers. I'm going to give you 5 steps. So the first, before we get started into the 5 steps, I want to share with you the benefits of working with first-time home buyers. And one is going to be that just remember what it's like for those of you that are homeowners leading up to becoming a homeowner. So just kind of picture yourself, if you've been through it, in that where your state of mind was, that it was a lot of work, things that you had to do, mental preparation with yourself, with your family. And it's definitely not easy that first time. So clients that are going through this and working with you, they're going to remember you forever. So of course we want to make that a good memory, and they will be, excuse me, a walking billboard for you if that is a really good memory for them. And so their memory and experience will turn into repeat business and referrals. And this is an opportunity to really help transform someone's life. Homeownership is much more than just the dwelling that they own, right? This is becoming, or the beginning of creating wealth through real estate. And it really just takes that very first home. So now we're going to get into the steps. And the first step I want to share with you all is marketing. So if you are a new agent or an agent that is wanting to market to first-time home buyers, remember that we are here to guide and educate. And also, let me preface by saying anything that I'm sharing with you guys today, a lot of this can be applied to working with any buyer, not just first time. It's just that's our focus. So our idea is to be a guide and an educator. One thing that with marketing, I think is really important to remember is that if you're talking to everyone, then you're talking to no one. And it's okay to have a niche. So that's what I mean by, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. So if your marketing is too general, no one's going to connect, and you're also not going to really get seen or be understood as to who you can serve and who you can help. So you can think of advertising that you probably get maybe through email. Let's just start there. And I laugh because I bought glasses at Warby Parker a couple months ago, and I don't know how they do this, and you guys probably experience this, but every single day they send me an email. Like, I'm ready to unsubscribe, it's a little too much. But they sell glasses, and it's not even like they're coming out with new designs every day, yet they come up with some kind of marketing to reach their audience often. So this is an example of what we need to do, and it's okay to have a target market. So if that's first-time home buyers, we want to constantly be talking to a first-time home buyer. So when they hear our marketing or read it, they think, oh my gosh, she's talking to me, or he's talking to me. One thing that you can do is work with one of our title reps or one of your title reps and farm to higher end apartment communities. Higher end apartment communities are typically have a very high turnover. So those are soon to be buyers. You can also sit open houses in entry level priced home or communities. So usually in that 400 price point, there are going to be a lot of new buyers, first-time home buyers that are attracted to those homes, and you can meet them by sitting those opens. And you can literally create an office out of an open house. You can do open houses every day if you want, 3-4 times a week. You can have strategy to this and choose your open houses near major employers and also near major highways. That will help your marketing, and it will help you to target the type of clients that you're looking for. When you're creating short video like Reels and Stories, you can specifically speak to first-time home buyers. And that goes back into, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. So create a lot of video content around what new home buyers want to know and what they want to hear about and learn about. If you want, you can do target marketing ads on Facebook and Instagram. You can, if you're active on LinkedIn, you can use LinkedIn to target certain employers, certain positions to help you target first-time home buyers as well. And you can partner with a loan officer partner and host buyer bootcamp classes or even a series of classes as well. And another thing that you can do is when you're going about talking to anyone about real estate, of course, don't prejudge. You will be very surprised of who is ready, willing, and able to turn into a buyer. Quick story that I have example is I'm always talking to people when I'm out, and I was at the mall. This was a couple of years ago. Some of my agents who are on here probably have heard this story, but I love it so much. I use it a lot because I was talking to a gentleman that was working in Nespresso. And so as we all know, like if you're working in retail, you're usually making like not much more above minimum wage. But we were chatting and he said he was really interested in buying. So rather than prejudging and assuming that he probably didn't have the income or whatever, of course, I gave out my card, and sure enough, he called me the very next day. And then within like a month, we were under contract. And that's just a really great example of how you never know who you're going to meet. And sometimes you can meet someone who may not seem like they could be ready to buy, but they might be. So step number 2 is going to be your buyer consultation. Of course, this can be in person or in Zoom, and utilize your resources. So use the information that you gather from that consultation to create a really good custom search and a portal. Make sure that a first-time home buyer is aware of how the MLS works on the client perspective, because they've probably never experienced it. Someone that has owned property before is going to be more familiar. You should explain to them, just like, think of when you're talking to a first-time home buyer, it's like you're talking to a 10-year-old, because they have never been through the process, and the things that you might think are very, very simple, they are not going to know or understand unless you really break it down. So something that if you guys are a part of the locker room calls, you hear they say a lot, clarity is kind. This is something that especially all buyers need, but especially first-time home buyers. So if they're looking for new homes, make sure that you set them up in NHS, for instance. Utilize your tools and resources. So there's a buyer questionnaire you can pull from the locker room or create your own. Utilize your title rep to get a branded buyer guide. The buyer guides have a lot of information in there that will help a first-time home buyer to walk them through the basics, the escrow process, etc. It's in there. The sample contract, it's in there. There's an app that you can get from one of our title partners that will help to break down what their payment is going to be. You don't have to create an Excel spreadsheet or just handwrite it. It looks very professional. It just, in seconds, you just have the information about the house. Boom, you'll be able to know what the down payment is and what the monthly amount is. And be sure to explain to them the difference between your down payment and your closing costs. This was actually brought up the other day on a call. A lot of first-time home buyers do not understand the difference or do not know that they owe anything other than the down payment. So be sure to break that down, as well as PITI and HOA. So principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and HOA, and how that all factors in. You also may need to get creative if they don't have enough money in the bank. A lot of times when you're working with first-time home buyers, especially if they have been trying or working, air quotes, on becoming a homeowner for years, there may be a lot of fear and mental blocks that you will have to help them work through. And through your buyer consultation and understanding more about their needs and where they've been will help you to determine, how much you need to assist. So maybe it's getting them in touch with a credit repair expert. Maybe it's having the loan officer partner work a little bit more on that as well. So there's different things. As far as their down payment and closing cost funds, maybe they never thought of pulling any funds from their 401. It doesn't mean it's the best financial decision for everyone, but some it might. So these are things to talk about and help them to have an open mind and have other experts to assist to see what's going to be the best thing for them. Maybe gift funds. Maybe they need a spending detox, like having a period of time where they are not spending as much as they normally would, because spending less actually helps create more money in the account than, quote, saving money. The third step, I pulled a few memes because I just thought they were so hilarious. So some of them you guys have probably seen, but just wanted to throw these in. So this is, basics here. That we want to make sure that we're connecting them with a trusted loan officer partner. And when you're choosing a partner for them to work with, be sure to choose one that aligns with your vision and your brand. And this is general, but it's also client specific. And the reason why is that the question is, what do they get when they get you? Meaning, what service do they get when they get you as an agent? What experience do they have when they get you as an agent? And your partners should be in alignment with that, because it goes back to the trust that the client has in you. So they will understand by working with you what they get when they get you, and it should match with the partner. So I'll use an extreme example. Let's say that you're very detail oriented, and then you refer them to a loan officer partner who you love, like you just connect, they're awesome, but they're not as detail oriented. The client likes detail. They saw that you were detailed and expected that from the loan officer, and they weren't. That's going to not be the best partnership in that particular case. So that leads me to the next point, which is, if you guys are familiar with DISC, if not, I recommend going, because I know some of you guys on here are not in the coaching program, go into the locker room and take the course on DISC, because you want to learn it so you can help match your buyers. And a loan officer who's working with a first-time home buyer should be should like to work with first-time home buyers. I've worked with awesome loan officers, but they just really didn't enjoy working with first-time home buyers, but they were great and we connected, but that wasn't the best pair. Or maybe make sure that you want to make sure that they are very good with follow-up, because a first-time home buyer may need even years of nurturing before they're actually ready. And you want someone who can take over some of the burden of that follow-up, and that you are doing that as a partnership. And going back to the DISC, first-time home buyers are really great to work with people who have both nurturing qualities and very good with detail, because typically they need more information than someone who's gone through the process, and they also need more hand-holding. So in DISC, someone with a higher I or a C and also an S are good. And the golden rule, this is coming from the locker room, is we don't treat others as we want to be treated. We treat others how they want to be treated. So that is how, pairing up a partner with an I, C, and S is going to be really helpful, make things go smoother. When you are starting to work with that loan officer, you want to do an intro text. So you want to introduce, maybe it's an email if your client prefers email communication, so either one, and send an intro to the loan officer that you feel would be a good fit and to your client, and introduce them. And this not only puts accountability onto your client, but it also shows that you're a team and that they have a lot of support. And it also helps for everyone to be on the same page. And then the loan officer will take it from there. They'll set up a one-on-one call with the buyer or buyers if there's more than one. And then they will get back to you and let you know how that went and what the next steps are. The intro text is really key. And make sure that you're partnering with someone, especially if your buyer is self-employed, with a loan officer partner who is very familiar with working with other loan programs than just your standard FHA, VA, conventional, that they can do bank statement loans or other types of loans, because there could be an example where they're partnered with someone amazing, but if your buyer is a business owner and then maybe they're told, because I've had this happen to me before, oh, you are going to need to wait another year or two to get your taxes done, and then you can come back and buy. But that may not be the case. We have to do what's best for our client. And if partnering them with someone who is familiar with bank statement loans in this case is going to be the best bet for them, so that way they can buy sooner, then that's what we need to do. So know that in advance. And that's a simple question during your buyer consultation, just to find out a little bit about their employment. And then you know also who is going to be a good partner. This comes a little bit further down the line, but it's having to do with partners, which is buyers typically are choosing title. Now that the market has been shifting, this is happening again more and more, as the last few years, when you're up against 15 other offers, unfortunately, you're not going to go back and forth over title. So you're going to do what it takes to get the offer accepted. But now that we're more in a balanced market again, buyers can go back to choose title. So this is very helpful with first-time home buyers, because now you have another partner that is really in your corner and understands how it is, working with you and your client. This was another funny one. So this is something here that can save you a lot of trouble when your loan officer partner is discussing this, and you should as well, what not to do. So there's a do's and don'ts list. I think there's some people that are not on mute. If you guys can check and mute yourself, that'd be awesome. Thank you. there's a do's and don'ts list that you can get from title and or the loan officers too. They'll both give those to you, and you can add them into your buyer guides or just in your packet that you would give during the buyer consultation. Some basic do's and don'ts will be really helpful. Okay, so number 4, client experience. So we all want to get to this point here when they realize that the home is the one. Is super exciting. And when it comes to the client experience, there's so much that goes into this, guys, but I'm just gonna, hit the main points. And that's, what kind of experience do you want to create? Like as a brand, as a business owner, and for all of your clients? And what kind of experience would you want to have if you were a first-time home buyer in this case? So they can be ready now, or they can be ready in 2 years. I mean, I've had clients that it took 4 years before they were ready. So don't be attached to the time. Timing is key for them, but the follow-up is the key for you. And use that time to build the relationship. Because the more time it takes, the bigger the transformation that they will have, which is possibility for more opportunities. So during this time that you are basically nurturing that relationship, that they're getting prepared, maybe they're in credit repair, maybe they're saving money, maybe they're in job transition, whatever it may be, that you are inviting them to your open houses, to classes, to events. Be sure that your follow-up is both organic, so text, call, and automated. They should be plugged into, if you have MailChimp or some other form of sending out blast emails. They should be receiving your newsletters, and the drip that's in sync, that's another form of automated follow-up, so that they're getting touches from you in many ways throughout the month and throughout the year if it takes longer. So let's say that the buyer is now ready to go, and we're like, okay, awesome, let's find you a house. Well, give them the big picture. So think about, we don't want our buyers to feel like they're in a house they've never been in before. The electricity goes out, it's completely dark, and they don't have their phone with their light near them. So now they're trying to figure out how to go through this house they've never been in complete darkness. We don't want that to happen for our clients. So we want to give them the big picture up front, because they will feel like they have more control. And control gives people a sense of ease, right? But you also have to be very aware of what's next and stay multiple steps ahead. So you give them the overall big picture, but then you give them that's like the macro, and then you give them the micro, the details, a few steps ahead as you go along. Because you will overwhelm a buyer if you give them all the details up front. They'll be super overwhelmed, but they do need to know something up front. And when you're always a few steps ahead, that avoids that anxiety from the buyer, because then they always know what's next. And it increases the trust that they have. And also know that if they're coming to you asking what's next, then you didn't fully do your job. So you can also automate this. And now that we've all switched into Suite Assist, this is something that I recommend doing. We talked about it on the office call earlier. You can set up and automate your tasks, the tasks of the escrow. So that's automated for you as well. It's just an idea, but there are many other ways that you could do it. Let's see. Wow, blown through this faster than I thought. Okay. This is just another meme that I thought was so realistic, especially, you know, the past couple of years. Oh, this one too. So this is something that a first-time home buyer can totally do, and I laughed when I saw this one as well. So saying, stay a few steps ahead, prep them for every step. Okay, now this is definitely something that we have all experienced or will experience. And even in this market, so we want to make sure, because I'm also giving you guys information that's real and relevant to the market that we're in right now. And there's a misconception that this, like the meme is showing, will not happen because we're more balanced. That's not the case. Just because a home is on the market for 21 days, 30 days, 45 days, whatever, it doesn't mean that at any point in time, someone can come along and put an offer in. So days on market matters in negotiating and for both sides, but it doesn't mean that it's not a desirable property, especially if there's price decreases. And there's been a recent one. Make sure that your buyer is aware that at any time this can happen. So a tip that I have for you guys, this is for any buyer, is that when you're going through, show 2 to 4 houses at one time. I know some of you will show 10 houses in one day. Even the most experienced buyers get overwhelmed and start literally like seeing stars after 4 homes. They just can't process. So if you cut it off at 4 and after each house, you ask them, would you like to put an offer in on this house? Take note of their response, their body language, how long, was there a pause? What did they say? And then at the end of doing the showings, have them evaluate and rank each house, list the pros and cons so that it's very clear and you know where they stand with each house and you can move forward from there. Okay, then we're getting to the end of the process. So we're so excited. We are, almost going to close. Make sure that you're asking for referrals 3 times during the transaction. So the first time, there's a lull. Some of you have had closed deals already know this, or those of you that haven't, just take note. There's a lull after the appraisal. And there's this time where it's just underwriting is happening. And there's like quiet time, empty space. That's a perfect time to ask for the first referral, because it's a way to reach out to the client so they know you're not ghosting them, you're still there. And there's nothing pressing going on that's going to divert your energy or their energy. Another time is going to be after CTC. So after clear to close, because it's like, whew, congratulations, clear to close, okay? Then you can also ask for it then. And then another time would be after or when you are giving them the big congratulations that, hey, it's official, we've recorded. Then you want to make sure to ask for video testimonial or a video testimonial in advance, because just like you guys, your buyers are the same, your clients are the same way. They don't want to be put on the spot on camera. If the women, like, we want to have our makeup done, our hair dressed cute. And when you're getting your keys, you're probably showing up in like workout clothes. You may be literally moving that same day. So ask in advance what's going to be convenient for your buyer. If you can get a video testimonial the day that you give keys, awesome. If not, you've asked in advance and you can set that up. And then basically, you guys are just rinsing and repeating the process. So I wanted to make sure to end early so that we could leave time for questions. I know I went through everything pretty fast. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take to get through everything. I know we started a little late. So yeah, I want to see you guys. All right. Where's my little drop down here? There we go. Let me stop sharing. Okay. Yeah, so any questions? Questions, okay. All right, awesome. So just remember, guys, so real estate is a contact sport. It's not a spectator sport. So any kind of training, education that you guys are getting, you want to make sure that you are not just learning, that you're taking action. Because if we're just learning, then it's basically entertainment, and we aren't here for entertainment, right? So I like to hear from you guys, at least like 2 of you or more. What is one golden nugget, or it could be more too, that you took away from this class today that you're going to implement starting this week? So I'm going to start. Actually, Kat, I'm going to call on you because I know you're working with a lot of buyers right now. So just break the ice, start with you.
So I hopped on a little bit more than halfway through, so I missed the first half of it, but I do like the testimonial you were talking about. That's really, I think that's great to kind of prepare them and get that, because I mean, I'm assuming you'd be putting that on your social media and things like that, just kind of get it out there. So I like that, and I'll definitely be implementing that.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Nicole, I see you out on camera, so I'm going to call on you.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of good information. I like the do's and don't list. And obviously the buyer consult, everything, you know, explaining that to them. But I also really thought it was kind of important from this perspective, getting them to work with, pairing them with, you know, the personalities that work well with them and not necessarily with us, because I hadn't really thought of that before. So makes a lot of sense, actually.
Cool. Yeah, great point. Thanks for sharing. Mercedes, what about you? What are you going to implement from what you got today?
Hi. Sorry.
You're good.
I think, like, you know, you've repeated a couple times as far as like finding that niche, and I think that's important because we can easily kind of want to do everything, and we have to kind of reel us back to like, okay, find your niche. And like personally to me, even though I really do want to get into like the relocating of clients, I can see me like connecting with first time buyers, because I feel like I would have like a lot of almost treat them like a child. I mean, not in a bad way. I don't want to sound like I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm like a mom, but I don't know. It's like the nurturing part of it. Mm-hmm. The nurturing really resonates with me. So again, like the gal was saying here, is that relationship is so important from the beginning, not only with you and the realtor, but also with the loan officer from the beginning to the end. And I know it takes more time and effort perhaps with a first time buyer, but at the same time, it's so significant in their lives for their first home. So I totally can relate to that.
Love it. Thank you. Those are great shares. Thank you. Well, since we have such a small group, I'm going to ask all of you to share. We have time. So, and then we'll just wrap up. So Vicki, first of all, congratulations, Agent of the Month. Thanks for being here. So I know you do a lot of volume. So is there anything today that I mean, we're all here for a reason right now. We all got on this call because to get something, and I'm sure everybody got at least something out of it. So Vicky, what for you was maybe new or just a reminder that you're like, okay, I need to be doing that?
Yes, I think I'm really bad at asking for testimonial and make a video. I'm really bad at it. So I think that's really important to do some of this and, you know, to show to your social media and let them, you know, let your friends know, and maybe some prepared buyer already, you know, want to look for an agent or relocated. They might can see on the social media and the testimonial from your clients and their referrals. Those are very important.
Yes, thank you
Yeah,
for mentioning that.
Yeah, because I never asked them to do it, and but they do refer me client one after one, and you know, and that's really good, you know, for me. It will, even though I didn't ask for it, but it's also your work effort for them too, how you present your work effort to them and the knowledge that you have, especially when they ask for the location and where is the best investment and when can keep the value of the property. Those are very important information for the buyer.
Yes.
Because I have a lot of buyers from out of state, like in Bay Area, some from New York and Chicago, and also Seattle too. So they don't know anything about Phoenix. Besides, we have the TSMC moving down here. They all know, oh, you know what, you know, there's a big booming over there. So, you know, they all coming for that kind of information. But turned out, I turned a lot of my buyers to Southeast Valley instead of North, because you know the TSMC is building in Peoria or Glendale, right, on the north side. But I taught them to buy in Southeast Valley because you know the area, they know you, they trust you. You know, you're an expert, you know, of the local agents, so they trust you, and you need to know, you know, the benefit for them and tell them, you know, if you invest here, it will be benefit for you. If the property hold up is well established area or not, you know, kind of like those information research for them, and then ask them for testimonial.
Well, and also, Vicky, you brought up a really good point about sharing about different areas. So thank you, because that was something that I didn't include. Like, there's only, you know, so much.
No
But
problem.
it was perfect, because that is something that's really helpful for new first-time homebuyers, whether or not they know the area or not. They may not know, well, where's the best to buy. So just like you said, being that local expert, being that trusted expert to say, well, you may have maybe rented there, or you may like that area, but it's based on, you know, where you work or what you do in your personal time or this or that, you may want to consider this area too. Also price, of course. What are, when you find out their price point, okay, what are some areas of town that you can get the most bang for the buck? So thank you for mentioning that, because that's a really good point for everyone as well, working with first-time home buyers.
You're welcome, no problem. And also one thing I want to add on to, sorry, not going to take away your training.
You have time, go ahead.
For the first-time home buyer, I have a lot of them, and we never seen, even though from the consultation to close the house and rent it out for them, they never come down here. We just do virtual tour. And why they trust me and choose me, and I did a Zoom meeting with them.
Yep.
Zoom meeting, you know, to show their map and geography and where is the best place, you know, maybe more benefit for them for keep up a long-term investment property, and tell them the pros and cons, you know, of course, for each city. Like in Chandler, the zip code, you have to know the zip code. Each zip code, you know, has different, slightly price difference too, right? So we got to explain to them. So in zip code 85225, maybe it's good to investment, for good investment, but not good at keeping up the value as 85286, right? So they know that, you know this detailed stuff, and they trust you, and they keep referring clients to you. So that's how.
Exactly. And what is their goal? I love this. We're having a conversation now. Is how long do they plan on living in the home? Do they plan on living in the home just a couple years because they just needed to buy something, so they're not renting anymore, but it's not their ideal home, or did they find their home that they can see themselves in for a longer period, and letting them know that the average person is really only living in a home 5 to 7 years, but finding out their short and long-term goals and fitting that in. So these are all really great points. Love it.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah, and I got a lot to talk about, but majority of the first-time buyer, they are from Bay Area. They don't own a house over there. They bought their first house outside of their state for investment only. So I mean, like, even though you want to move here, it's good for you, or if you want to rent it out, it's good for the renter too, because rental knows how to pick the area to live in, for the school, for the lifestyle and everything. So just come to see what they need.
Exactly.
Okay, you know what? I need to go pick up my kids. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thanks,
Yeah,
Vicki.
thank you.
Tanisha, what about you? What were some golden nuggets from this afternoon?
I think the golden nuggets for me was the marketing piece, because that's actually what I'm working on now, just marketing and trying to get my website going and trying to get some organic leads. But I think my main issue is just basically how to find the actual leads for the first-time home buyers, because I was really looking towards first-time home buyers being my actual niche, just because when I did the DISC assessment, that's kind of where I was sitting at the S and I believe the I. So I was like, when you said that, it just rang a bell. I was like, maybe this is the niche that I should be going towards. So it just kind of confirmed that. But that's just my biggest thing, just trying to find the leads and the actual individuals that are out there, looking to buy. And I like the educational piece, being able to educate them, because it's not only educating them, it's educating me as well, because I'm obviously a new realtor. I've been on the mortgage side of things, but now I switched over into the realtor side. So I'm just like learning this side as well. So yeah, so that's kind of what I get from the meeting
Awesome.
today.
Well, we're
Yeah.
excited to see you kill it out there in the marketing, however you're doing that, whatever your business
Thank
plan
you.
is to implement. So awesome.
Yes.
Emily, what about you? What were some of your takeaways?
So I have my first time home buyer consultation tomorrow. So this training couldn't have came at a better time.
Perfect.
And so I basically kind of what I took note on from this is to explain like the down payments and the closing costs, because I think that's something important. And then also like the asking for referrals and everything. It's a good time, like how you mentioned, I think like after the appraisal is done, to ask for the referral, that just because, yeah, I think that's a great time to ask.
Yes, definitely. Great. Thanks for
That's it.
sharing. Well, I'm so happy we got to hear from everyone, and the recording will be available in SweetAssist. And yeah, so we're ending a few minutes early. Unless anyone else has anything to add or questions, we'll wrap it up. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for being here. Have a great day. Oh, and I have the next class October 5th. Yes, October 5th on networking, I think. Lisa,
All right,
you.
thank you so much.
oh,
Thank
yes.
you. Have
you.
a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Yeah, the